Hello everybody, it is Christine. Time for a scrapbook process video. And what I have pulled out actually was my April counterfeit kit, because I still had it kind of sitting there and there's these papers, and I thought, you know what, let's just go ahead and use these up, Christine. So the sketch, I've also pulled a sketch out. I kind of technically used it sort of kind of this last month also, but I used like, I think it was one photo and stuff, and I thought, you know, I'm going to go ahead and reuse this. I'll dump it after this. Or at least be inspired by, because I do have two photos, and I thought I can make this look a little different. So the photos I have are the dogs, and they're sleeping. I'm thinking this is technically older. And by the way, this is for the 52 photos, 52 weeks. It's like everyday photos. But I did take this one. This is Birdie. He's just laying on the patio here, chilling. He does the same, but I thought, you know, these two little sleeping dog photos are kind of cute, because I think I'm going to name this like It's a Dog Life or something like that. Or Dog on Life or something like that. I'm not really sure. But I'm thinking I'm going to make this kind of like a back here, because I like this dark gray and black. I may gut this actually to have it available for possible photo mats. And I'm thinking I'll put this on there. I don't even know what that is. I was looking at that and I'm like, it looks almost like little moths. I think they're little moths. But anyway, it's green. So, and it kind of goes with the green grass. That's the main reason I'm pulling that out. So I thought I'd do that. And then these ones here, I'm thinking I might use as the horizontal pieces. I'll trim that. I don't think the backside. Ooh, that's kind of pretty though, because I do like this, but maybe I'll cut out the florals. I haven't really decided. If I split this and then I can use the two pieces, that might work. I don't know if I used this before on that. I might have. Actually, I may do that. And then I have my two photos here, you know, like this. And I think I'm going to mat them on black cardstock, and I may again gut this and use that as well. I do also have these little like clip note things, but I don't think that goes with this really. I have this piece as well, but I think I may cut these florals, because the sketch has little florals. Why not? There's a subtitle. I'll find something. So that's my intention. So let me do a little cutting and I'll be back on in a second. Okay, so I decided, I did go ahead and cut this down here by a 1/2 inch, just because it's going to go on top of the grid black paper. I decided that this green was just a little, I don't know, a little much. And I had this new, I got this new like Vicky Bouton white paint. And I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to use that and kind of tone this down. So I'm going to go on the top and the bottom and just kind of paint a little bit on the paper here. No fancy technique or anything, just I got a little bit of water to my paint, and I'm just kind of going back and forth horizontally, and my brush strokes are horizontal. I'm not going to sit here and say at the end of this that you see tons, well, I guess you kind of do see tons of paint. I see paint. But the intention was to just kind of tone down that green a little bit, so when I put the flowers that I fussy cut on it, you could see them, at least in my mind, a little better. I'm going to be brutally honest with this layout for myself. I don't know that I love the black. I think that it's a very bright color palette, and I enjoy that the black kind of pops, but I don't know. Something about it also doesn't ring true to me. So let me know what you think. I'm not sure I love it. I think I might have done better for myself had I not used that dark green, or the black with the grid, or I might could have got away with that. It's the photos that I think I've kind of messed myself up with. I might should have actually matted them on white, or perhaps, you know, maybe in that coral or something along those lines. I think the black is almost a little too much. So just going to say it. I've got these flowers. I did fussy cut those out of that paper, and I'm kind of just organizing them where the sketch kind of shows papers, flowers. I will tell you, I almost forget. I've actually fussy cut those little pieces to the left there that look like a little notebook paper, a little, you know, clipboard looking thing, a little letter. I almost forgot about them. And I did that because of the sketch showing like a vertical banners. And I'm going to use those basically kind of in place of those. It's just kind of inspired by those vertical banners on the sketch. So I almost forget them though. And then I remember them, thankfully, before I glued too much stuff down. I will use Nuvo glue kind of going around here. And then I will pull out, I do that off camera, but I'll pull out a bunch of little foam dots and squares and different things. And wherever, so basically I use the Nuvo glue in the center of the flowers to just make sure that they would stay. And then I'm going to come along, and where the leaves are kind of lifting, I'm going to add the foam pieces. So I've mentioned this before, that sometimes when you fussy cut it, because, you know, you're rotating the paper and this and that, it'll create little lifts. And I enjoy, when I put it down on my paper, kind of noticing those and then putting the foam under the corners. So that's what I'm kind of doing right now. I'm just using my Nuvo glue here. These flowers are probably a tad bigger than what's really shown on the sketch, but I think I do enjoy these. And let me see. There's where I would go. Oh, shoot, can't forget these because this is kind of supposed to act as my little vertical pieces here. I stick that one into the left and the little notebook people one to the right. And then the little letter one's going to go down on the bottom. There's not really a real thematic reason I use these because it's obviously not notes and papers or anything like that. But I just thought they were a nice substitution for those vertical pieces. The title is going to end up being It's a Dog's Life. I'm going to put my letters out over here. I'm going to use this little font set here. I really enjoy because it does have the big letters. And on the back, you'll see in just a second, I'll flip it over and there's little letters, which is kind of perfect when you need a mixed font title. So, and I was kind of proud too because I had all the letters. I had the E and the S and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes, you run out of those. I think that's my last E in the big ones though, unfortunately. I'll put these down in just a second, and then I'm going to add the apostrophe on the I have to use like the middle piece of another letter. I forget which letter, maybe a D or something, but it works fine for an apostrophe. I probably should have cut some of this out, but the layout itself didn't take me too long, excepting the fussy cutting the flowers. That did take me a little while, I'm not going to lie. I was sitting here just watching YouTube while I was cutting those out because that did take me just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to get into the letters in just a second. I think I told you guys these pictures are just the puppies. They're just sleeping. Flint doesn't sleep a lot in the sense of like, I mean, he sleeps at night, obviously, but he's definitely the pacer. Like he's a very anxious dog. He just kind of paces all the time if he's in the house. When he's outside, he kind of like, he'll lay down and stuff like that, but he still kind of moves around a lot. He's really fast when he runs in a circle. He'll get excited and run in a big old circle. He's the more anxious of the two. Now, Birdie, she sleeps a lot. She's lazy. She's definitely lazy. I like to put her outside because he makes her play sometimes, but she's definitely the sleepy one of the two. We have been catching her, though. She is starting to chew stuff. We're finding her. She took I have a tiered tray on my kitchen table, and that little booger took off with a rabbit and some beads and then just chewed them up. And she knew she did it because she was kind of hiding behind the couch when she did it. So there's It's a Dog Life. And then I found this other little piece here. It says happy. And I thought, that could be the little subtitle that's shown. So I'm going to end up writing when they are sleeping underneath that. But for the moment, I just stuck happy down there. And then I had these little enamel dots. I think it came with this collection. I can't swear on that, though. Now that I say that, this looks more like a Scrap Room Flavors of the Month, like extra. So I think I pulled that out of my little plastic box of extras up on my desk there. So I just kind of put those around too in kind of each little cluster there. And then this is where I'm going to write when they are sleeping. And so, like I said, I think it looks actually better on camera to me than it does in real life. That black is just, I don't know. Again, I'm not sure I embrace that. But the layout's done. I've got my little doggies documented here, and I got my 52 weeks documented. So thank you guys so much for watching. There will be a playlist. Actually, we're all putting all of our layouts on the same playlist. So if you really just need a binge, there you go. Find that playlist and grab you something to drink or whatever and just sit and watch. So thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope you have a lovely week. Talk soon. Bye.